So I'm hoping from now on for the rest of the season, every single game that the Canadiens play, it's going to be an important one. But tonight they were facing off against the Washington Capitals, who are doing incredible. And to make matters worse, they were facing off against the Capitals at home, where they haven't lost a game in regulation in 9 games. This was definitely going to be a challenge. This is like when you're playing an RPG and you hear the intense music starting and you have to fight the final boss. But how did the Canadiens do? Let's talk about it.
One more Neutrogena tantrum out of you and you're getting the gate, bud. Try me.
I feel like the lights are really bright tonight. It's like blinding me. I have to work on this setup. I have some plans actually. But let's talk about the game. This was an incredible game. I definitely went into this game tempering my expectations. And I'm glad I did because I was constantly impressed with this game, although it probably wasn't their best game. Before I show you the highlights, before we talk about the game, we've been doing incredible with subscriptions. I'd like to continue that. If you're new to this channel, can you please subscribe? We spent a lot of time trying to get to 7,000 subscribers, and now we're almost at 8,000 subscribers. If you're already subscribed, just hit that like button, comment in the comments section. It helps out with search results. So we start where we always start, the lineup. And guess what? For the, I don't even remember how many consecutive games, but David Savard and Patrick Laine will not be playing tonight. That means it's going to be the usual suspects. We've got Caufield, Suzuki, Slavkovsky, Pezzetta, Doc and Newhook, Anderson, Dvorak and Gallagher, Heineman, Evans and Armia. Our defensive pairings are Hudson and Matheson, Goulet and Carrier, Xhekaj and Struble, and in net returning is Jakub Dobeš. A lot of people are excited to see Dobeš back in net. Let's see if he can continue his success, his good metrics, and his win streak. If he wins tonight, this will be his 3rd win in 3 games. So let me bring up my notes. Where do we start? Okay, I guess puck drop's a pretty good spot. So everyone's ready to go. They're talking about how, Ovechkin is continuing to scrape at that goal record. The puck hits the ice and already it's hard physical play. This time it's the 3rd line that's out instead of the 4th line. So it's Anderson, Dvorak, and Gallagher setting the tone. Gallagher has an incredible shift. Do I have gameplay of this? I do. Gallagher has an incredible first shift. He is physical. He's forechecking. It's stuff like this that makes you really appreciate Gallagher. But then the 2nd line comes out. Pezzetta's on there. He draws a penalty. It's a tripping call, 2-minute minor on Duheim. So you take all that good energy that the first line and the first shift was able to put out, and it turns into this.
Ovechkin, he'll sling it in. Dobeš couldn't stop it. There's Jake Evans spinning, gave it away though. Chikrin, space in, shoot, score!
How often has this happened so far this season? It's quite a bit. I'd like to see that cleaned up a little bit, but what unfortunately happens is Struble takes a penalty right after Pezzetta takes a penalty. This is a selfish one. Struble gets caught behind the play, and he takes this penalty, forces the PK to go back to work. For 2 guys that are trying to make a name for themselves, they're doing it, but in a bad way. Thankfully, the penalty kills off that penalty. Struble gets back out there. He lays down a big hit. I think that Pezzetta actually laid a hit as well. I didn't catch that though. Still in the first period, Doc sets up Suzuki in front of the net, but the puck hops over Suzuki's stick. Suzuki gets another opportunity. He's going to get a lot this game. He puts the puck right on Lindgren. Lindgren has a hard time with it initially, but he is able to hold on. Then we see Suzuki break up a rush attempt. I'll let you in on a little secret. Suzuki has a weird game. There's times that he looked great. There's times that he looked terrible, but ultimately he ends with an incredible game. Now it's Washington's turn to take a penalty. Dubois gets sent to the box for tripping on Matheson. On the power play, Caufield puts it on net. It scuttles around in front of the net, but nobody's able to capitalize. I think that Doc was up in front, but couldn't get a stick on it. The Caps kill off that penalty, but just before the end of the first period, Caufield has a huge opportunity. Lindgren's stolen him, but the puck is still loose. While the puck is still loose, the horn blows. That's the end of the first period. They give us an overhead shot. Doc is literally like inches away from putting that in. So after 1 period, it's 1-0 for the Caps. The puck drops in the 2nd period. Slav makes a brilliant play, putting the puck onto Zook's stick, but Duheim, I think it's Duheim, puts Suzuki right into Lindgren. Lindgren is hurt here. He would later leave the game, and you can only assume it's because of what happened here. Then we see Heineman get a really good chance on getting his 11th goal of the season. So the Canadiens are putting the pressure on. They're actually way up in shots. That would continue, by the way. And with all that pressure that they're putting on, they finally capitalize when Slav sets up Caufield with an amazing feed at the back door.
Gooley pinching in. Slavkovsky, backdoor feed, score! Goal! Caufield, what a goal!
I really like this from Slav, not just because of the setup, but I think he actually forced a turnover and brought it into the offensive zone and continued to work and forecheck to keep that puck in there. I think this is exactly what St. Louis means when he says trust the process and trust the forecheck. So that was really great to see from Slav. Still in the second, we see Xhekaj get stripped and Radish gets a really good opportunity. One of the individuals who didn't have such a great game, I would say, is Xhekaj. But I think he actually had to play quite a few extra minutes because his buddy got benched. Struble ended up getting benched. Just let me check the minutes. Yeah, he ended up playing like 16 minutes. That's kind of a lot for Xhekaj, but really Matheson picked up the slack. He ended up playing nearly 28 minutes. Alexander Ovechkin gets a really good opportunity at goal 873. He barely misses his shot and it goes through the crease. With Charlie Lindgren out, Logan Thomas comes in and he's getting tested. There's a puck deflected in front of him. Then just over the halfway mark, I think it's Kirby Dach who takes a penalty. Tripping call against Tom Wilson, and the Caps go on the power play. There was one really scary part where Ovechkin gets the puck. Carrier has lost his skate blade, so he's down on the ground. Of course, he's the right D, so he's on the ground while you got Ovechkin winding up and taking piss missiles. Luckily, Dobesh is able to come up with the puck, and Carrier gets a nice little push to the bench. Jaden Struble takes another bad penalty, a 2-minute minor tripping call on Chychrun, but the puck gods smile on the Canadiens. Watch this goal by Josh Anderson.
Ovechkin's way, found on the pass, look out, Josh Anderson has a break, Anderson in shorthanded, Anderson backhand score!
Shorthanded goal by Josh Anderson. How come he can't always make it look this simple? Top cheese, backhanded shot. For me, that was the goal of the game. And there's still one really nice goal coming up. So it's 2-1 now for the Habs, and the Habs keep coming. Suzuki gets two really big chances. They're now up 20-10 in shots, and they're not done yet. Armia gets an opportunity. The horn goes, the second is over. A little scrum starts in the corner. Armia says, no thanks. Evans says, what's going on here? Caufield says, I want to watch. Nothing really happens. So they drop the puck in the third. It doesn't take long, about 2 minutes in. Lars Eller ties it up.
And he gets there first, Frank, on the puck. We talked about his speed. Set up, try, score!
Of course, it's Lars Eller. Every time we play a former Hab, they happen to get a goal. They could be on a cold streak, completely cold. They play against their former team, or it could be a long former player, and they'll score on us. It's like it happens every single time, right? They let Jeff Petrie score on them just a while ago. But again, what's unfortunate here is Xhekaj loses a foot race, but you can't really blame him. He loses the foot race to a player named Ethan Frank. He is 26 years old. He's getting his first opportunity in the NHL. This is his first game. He actually holds a record that allows him to be in the Hockey Hall of Fame. He's the fastest player in the NHL or AHL. So can you really blame Xhekaj for losing this one? There were a lot of players standing in front of the net not really being useful, as well as Lars Ellers is able to grab the puck and put a little snapshot in. We then are treated to the view of poor Struble sitting on the bench. I think he would sit there for the rest of the game. He only ended up putting about 5 minutes into the game. That reminds me, how long did Pizzetta play? Ooh, he played about 3 minutes this game. So I think it went about 6 minutes, 5 minutes, 4 minutes, and now he's down to 3 minutes. So I'm really disappointed. I really wanted those two to show some real signs of brilliance, but it's not happening. And I'm not sure how much time they have left. Things are starting to get tense. Is this going to be another game that goes to overtime? Dobesh makes that a possibility when he stands his ground and solves like 4 consecutive shots, but the Habs go back the other way. Thompson gets really lucky finding the puck in traffic, and then before the end of the third period, Suzuki gets another great chance, but Thompson comes up with a big glove save. We're headed to overtime. We've secured another point. That point puts us tied, I think, with Detroit, I want to say. We're back in 5th position at this point, but we had previously occupied the 2nd wildcard spot, so we've dropped down a little bit. So the puck drops in overtime. Evans loses the draw, which it's an important draw in overtime, right? 3-on-3. But luckily, Carlson gets the puck, and Suzuki says, "Why don't you just give me the puck? You're not really doing anything with it." Suzuki goes back with it the other way. He likes to finish overtime in the first minute. They showed an infographic where he typically ends the overtime within the first minute, and he nearly does it. But they lose the puck. Caps go back the other way, but the Caps go back the other way. It's a 2-on-1, and Hudson makes what I think is maybe his most incredible defensive play since becoming an NHL player. He breaks it up. The puck goes the other way. The Caps are now caught on an odd man rush, and you know how this ends.
It's a breakaway in numbers. Caufield to Suzuki. Nick Suzuki. Oh, the pass for Caufield, bouncing. Score!
The Habs celebrate another big win. They're really looking like David versus Goliath, beating all the NHL's strongest teams. The Caps, I think, were in 2nd place overall. So with that, Montreal has 43 points and moves up to 4th in the wildcard race. We only have the Penguins, Columbus, and Boston in front of us. Penguins have 44 points, Columbus has 44 points, and Boston has 45. One more win, and we would be tied with Boston. That's not true. We would be beating Boston because we have 3 less games under our belt than Boston. In fact, Columbus also has a game above us, and the Penguins have 2 above us. So a lot of people would say maybe the Canadiens are in better shape than those teams. But that's the game. 3-2 in overtime. There were a lot of standout players. Suzuki, Caufield, Anderson, the goal scorers looked great. But everybody pitched in. They really did their parts. There was a lot of forechecking. Like I said, trust the system, trust the forecheck. They held the Caps to like 17 shots. They couldn't hit 20 shots. And they're an offensive team. So that's a huge accomplishment by the Canadiens. While in terms of their shots, they accomplished 30 shots again, which if you remember at the start of the season was very difficult for them to do. I don't think that they did it until November or December. Pardon me, I know for sure that it was December. The only 3 individuals that really had a rough night were Xhekaj, Struble, and Pezzetta. After the game, the guys talked about how big that defensive play by Hudson was. They interviewed Dobesh. Everybody likes to hear from Dobesh. But what's funny about him is the journalists continue to say, "Wow, you did a really good job tonight. What stood out to you?" "I did a good job because the guys in front of me minimized danger opportunities." He's really humble. He's hard not to like. Martin St. Louis was happy with their game, and he was especially happy with how Slavkovsky set up some plays and was looking good on his feet. He was more concerned about how he's looking on his feet, which was a concern, and I feel validated. It was a concern of mine. He was looking sloppy on his feet. That's a pretty fundamental thing for you to regress at, is your skating ability. So yeah, it's been something that has concerned me about Slav. But that's going to do it. That was a really fun game, right? What did I want to ask you guys about? There's something that I wanted to ask you about. Oh, it's my birthday coming up. What should I do for my birthday? What's fun? Not too fun. Maybe something that doesn't involve alcohol that I can do on my birthday. I'm thinking about maybe taking a day off of work to celebrate it. And I think I'd like to do something with my 5-year-old and my 5-month-old. That's true. One's 5 years old and one's 5 months old. Yeah, let me know your ideas in the comments. I'm still working on a surprise for you guys. I'm supposed to be meeting with somebody from YouTube about like a course. And from that course, I might be able to start a new initiative. But the thing is, I want to make it something that's fair and interesting to you guys, something that you can participate in if you want to, but won't change the normal content of this channel. Anyway, that's going to do it for me, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you again so much for your support. It's been great. We've been growing way faster than I expected. I think that there's no way we don't reach 8,000 subscribers this month, right? Like, I think we got, what are we at? We're at 7,400 subscribers already. So we're halfway there and it's the 11th. Yeah, I guess it still might be cutting it close, but I think we can do it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Like the video. It helps me out with something. Subscribe. I'd love to have you. And as always, I'll see you down below in the comments.